Hello everyone, welcome to Marketing Research, MKTG 457 and Marketing Research. This is a review for your second exam, Exam 2 review, which covers chapters 8 through 12, okay, 8 through 12 for your second test, okay. Let's go over and then go over the chapters and see what you have learned and what you need to master to master and get yourself ready for the second test. Okay. We started out with the observation in marketing research. Observation, right? What observation is? You should know what observation is. A systematic process for recording behaviors, patterns with people, objects, and occurrences as they take place. Okay? It's a useful tool for either qualitative or quantitative research. Right? But there are disadvantages of observations. Okay? You can observe your people's behavior, but you cannot observe their motives. Okay? To study motives, you need more ways to research, to study. You can do like an experiment. Okay, we'll talk about next. Okay, there are analytical models do better with predicting behavior than explaining it. Okay, and observation periods often too short. And the nature of the observation studies. You can have mechanical observations, like supermarket scanners, traffic counters. When you drive on the road, sometimes you drive on the road, there's like a black rope, like things, a cable, lying across the road. You just drive over that. You feel the bump, a little bump, right? That's traffic counters. They use that to count how many cars are passing through, say, a certain section of the road, or maybe in front of a billboard, big billboards. See how many traffics there, how many people will see the billboard. Right? That's traffic counters. That's mechanical observation. And there are unobtrusive observations versus obtrusive observations. Okay? There are visible observations. Right? There are hidden observations. You should know all the differences and the definition. Okay? And then observing, interpreting nonverbal communications, which you understand this, the behavior, facial expressions, body language, eye activities, personal space, gestures, manners, their descriptions and examples. And what do they mean? Okay, what do they mean? Okay. And direct versus contrived observation. Derived versus contrived observations. Okay. What is derived observation? Was contrived observation. Okay. Monitoring web traffic, then buzz, okay. Click-through rate or CTR, click-through rate, conversation volume, okay, volume, and CTR and online advertising, okay, CTR. And eye tracking, physiological reactions, eye tracking, pupil meter, what the pupil meter does, psychogalvanometer, can study your skin conductivity of electricity, voice pitch analysis, as we just go back, higher speech versus lower speech, analyze your speech, MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, okay. Look at your brain actions. Right? The next chapter we talk about experiments. Right? Experiment is widely used in causal research design. Causal, cause and effect. Causal. Okay. Remember, observation, you cannot observe motives. In experiment, you can study motives. You can test for the motives. Okay? You can test for the cause and effects. Okay. In this marketing experiment, the experimenter manipulates one or more independent variables and look at the changes, effects on the dependent variables. The example I give you in my lecture was the color of the room or color of the store walls on consumers' purchase intention, right? Lighting and color on purchase intention. That's an experiment. Okay? As a researcher, you can control variables in the experiment because it's a lab experiment. You can control some variables. Okay? There are experimental conditions, right, that you can adjust. Okay? There are blocking variables to separate experiment subjects into groups. Okay, there is covariate. There's something else involved. Okay, covariate, not just the variables you're looking at. Okay? Then there's the effects. There's the effects from independent variable on dependent variable. There's a main effect versus interaction effect. Make sure you understand the difference. Okay. Main effect and interactions. What is main effect? What is interactions? The example I gave you, let's say if you just look at the color of the room on purchase intention, you're looking at the main effect. You're just looking at the lighting of the room on like a purchase intention. That's another main effect. But if you look at the lighting and color at the same time, maybe you find that the certain color of room with a certain setting of light will have an impact on purchase intentions. That's an interaction effect. Okay, interaction effect, main effect. Okay, subjects versus respondents. Okay. In survey research, we call the people you want to work on, you want to get answers from, respondents. In experimental research, we call those people who are participants in the research subjects. Okay, subjects versus respondents. Excuse me. Okay, experimental variables versus independent variables. Okay, look at that. Okay. And experiment design involves no less than 4 important design elements. Manipulation, that you can manipulate independent variables. So you change the color of the room, right? That's manipulation. You can change the lighting, dim light or bright light. That's manipulation. You can manipulate independent variables. The selection and measurement of the dependent variables. What is your dependent variable? What is the effect that you're looking at? Okay, you want to see a set of dependent variable. Let's say purchase intention. How do you measure that? Okay, you measure that. Okay. Select an assignment of experimental subjects. Okay, put people into experimental setting. Okay, you need control over extraneous variables. Okay, you need to have control over that. Okay. Then experimental group versus control group. Right, experimental group is one that you have the effects on. Right, you have the experimental conditions on. The control group does not get the treatment. The one with treatment, experimental group. The one does not have treatment is control group. Okay? And the cell. You may have several variables tested together at the same time, and you can put people in different cells, a different combination of treatments in cells. Okay? Placebos, the one with no treatment, and placebo. Basic experimental design versus factorial design. Okay, we talk about basic design versus factorial design. So you understand that. And within subjects versus between subjects. Within subjects, use same group of subjects, put them under all different conditions, different treatment levels. Okay. Between subject designs, you have only one group of subjects under only one condition or one treatment level. Okay? I have different group of subjects under different treatment groups. Okay? That's within and between. Which one gives you better, more validity? Within or between? Think about that. Within or between? Give you a better validity of your test result. It's between. Okay, between. But between is also more costly and time consuming. Internal validity versus validity versus reliability. What's internal validity? Is experimental variable truly responsible for any variance in the dependent variable? Okay, if this is high validity, not low validity. You can do manipulation checks, to see if you can detect the variations in experimental conditions. There's a history effect, There's a cohort effect, and if you understand those. Measurement. What is measurement? Measurement is the process of describing some property or phenomenon of interest, usually by assigning numbers. Next chapter we talk about measurements. Okay, how to measure concepts, generalized ideas that represent something of meaning. Concept, variables, variables. Okay, and scales. Okay, the scales. Okay? Constructs. What is construct? Okay? And different level of scale measurement. Right? There are 4 levels of scale measurement that we talk about. Okay, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Okay, the 4 levels. Make sure you understand all those. I think I'll give you examples of that using horse racing to show that. Okay, yeah, right here. Okay, excuse me. The first one is nominal. Yeah, the number 7 just means the number 7, the horse, or the rider. Okay, that's number 7. Excuse me. And then the 5, 6, 7, the 3 horses. It shows the ordinal measurement. The wind plays a show, and the interval, not only the rank order but also the distance, and then the ratio. Okay, ratio measurement. Construct validity. Okay, what is construct validity? A construct validity exists when measure reliably measure and truthfully represent a unique concept and consists of several components. Okay, there's a face validity. There's a appear to be in agreement with other theories or tools. Criterion validity, okay? Convergent validity, okay? Discriminant validity, okay? And fit validity. Okay? Make sure you understand all these terminologies, know the differences between 2 different types of validity. All right. And this chart, this picture shows the situation of old rifle versus new rifle, showing the low reliability of the old rifle, high reliability of a new rifle, and also another case, high validity, high reliability, but not, low validity of a new rifle. Okay, to help you understand the concept. Okay. Then we talked about attitude, right? Attitude. What is attitude? It's enduring disposition to respond consistently in a given manner to various aspects of the world, including persons, events, and objects. Okay? In your group project, I need you to test, right? To measure respondents' attitude. You need to have a few, 2 or 3 questions about their attitude using Likert scale, Likert type scales. Okay, attitude. There are 3 components of attitude. Okay, there is an affective component, liking or disliking. There's a cognitive component, the knowledge, right? And then there's a behavior component, that are your actions. Okay, affective, cognitive, and behavioral. Okay? Likert scale. Respondents indicate their attitude by checking how strongly they agree or disagree with carefully constructed statements ranging from very positive to very negative. It is Likert scale. Okay? You can have a 5-item Likert scale or a 7-item Likert scales. Okay? You assign numbers to each possible response. Okay? The scores are at best interval, now ratio. But if you have more than 5, oftentimes we treat it as a ratio in calculation. Okay. Also in your questionnaires, right? Questionnaire, avoid leading questions and loaded question. What's a leading question? And what's a loaded question? And what's a double-barreled questions? And then we, in the final chapter, we talk about the sampling, population element, census, samples. Why do we use samples? What is sampling frame? Sampling units. Okay. There's a sampling errors associated with sampling, errors associated with sampling, and probability versus non-probability samples, probability sampling, non-probability sampling. And here are the some sampling methods here. Here's a convenience sample with a judgment sampling, with a quota sampling, snowball sampling, and there are probability samplings. Probability sampling, simple random sampling, right? Systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. And then we talk about proportional versus disproportional sampling. Okay, you should understand all those. Okay. So what is appropriate sample design, degree of accuracy, the causal issue, resources you have, okay, the time frame you have, etc. And that's all I think that's all I have for this review. So this for these 4 chapters that will be covered in your next text. Okay, and please study hard. Okay, and good luck for your get ready for your next test. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.